let me tell you about a story of when I coached baseball. Might not be the happiest story. In fact, some would say it's a horrific story. It all started when I just, out of the kindness of my heart, decided that I wanted to be more involved with the community. So I decided to sign up to coach Little League Baseball. I hadn't met any of the people that are going to be on my team. I've never done this sort of thing before, but I thought to myself, how hard could it be? We're talking about boys that aren't even 10 years old yet. What kind of trouble, what kind of mischief could they possibly cause? So I called up all the parents, let them know time and place, and we gathered. We gathered for a brief parents' meeting to be able to discuss the expectations of the season. And all the parents, they seemed normal enough. So we scheduled our first practice. It was going to be in the evening. So I arrived early, and to my surprise, nobody else was there when I had arrived. And when I say nobody was there, no surrounding teams, nobody on the fields around us, nobody on the playground. Everything was completely empty. As the time got closer and closer to 6 o'clock when the team was supposed to start practice, I started to wonder if anybody was going to show up at all. Then, it hit 6 o'clock. I was about to turn on my vehicle to get out of there, and they arrived. All at once, they arrived. Some of them sprouted out of the ground. Some of them appeared out of the vapor, and other ones in flashes of light. Their parents, who had looked so normal, didn't resemble their children at all. These were creatures of the night. Some of them looked like gargoyles. Others looked like wolfmen. Some like goblins, and still others zombies. I couldn't believe what I had gotten myself into, and I didn't know what to do with this situation. How on earth could I coach a team of monsters? But I decided to give it my best shot anyway. So we started off with the most basic of drills. Just hitting the ball to the fielders to see if they could field the ball, catch it, and then throw it in to first base. The first one to try this was the gargoyle. The gargoyle caught the ball, flew up into the air, and spit it out into the river far away. The next one was the werewolf, and instead of throwing the ball in, he ran it to me and wanted me to throw it again. The goblin. Well, the goblin was probably the worst of all of them, because the goblin caught the ball, looked like he was going to throw it to first base, but instead of throwing it to first base, he threw it right at me and hit me in the chest. It knocked the wind right out of me. I fell over, wheezing for air. Then all the little beasts ran over and started pinching and scratching and tickling at me non-stop, laughing and chuckling. I didn't know what I could possibly do to keep these things off of me. Finally, I blew the whistle, and they backed up and stood at attention. I said, if that happens again, I'm going to have you run the bases. It looked like it had worked. But then, we got back to practice, and they were going to practice batting. The vampire wouldn't go near the bat, said it looked too much like a wooden stake. The goblin picked up the bat and immediately charged at me. So I threw a ball at his head and it bounced off his head and landed on the ground. Then I thought to myself, oh no, what will this child's parent think? And then the wolf man picked up the ball and ran off with it. I thought to myself, great. There went our practice. It got dark, unusually fast, which was unfortunate because we were supposed to be done well before the nighttime. But here it was, and it wasn't even 6:30 yet. So I thought to myself, maybe this isn't a good place to be. So I told the children that I had to go use the restroom and not get in any trouble while I was gone. And while I went to try to find the restroom, the most horrific thing happened. I couldn't find the restroom. It was nowhere in sight. It's like somebody had taken the restroom off of the property and thrown it at a dumpster or something. I don't know, but it wasn't there. So I frantically searched all around for a restroom. And then it hit me. This was all one field. And I was trapped on this field. And trapped in this time. Maybe forever. I decided to stick it out. I ran back to the monster children to finish up this practice. I told them that the only way this practice was going to end was by them running around the bases. So I blew the whistle, and they started running from home plate to first base, to second base, to third base, to home, and around again, and again, and again, and again. And these children monsters just never seemed to get tired. And then before I knew it, they started veering off course and running all over the place, into the outfield, into the parking lot, into the sky. Some of them vanishing and digging into the ground, biting on my shins. They just wouldn't stop no matter what. They were totally out of control. I blew the whistle and blew the whistle, and none of them were standing at attention. I thought that this would be my end. Finally, 7:30 came around. The sun that had set in the west had risen again. The children, some had vanished. Some had taken off into the sky. Others into flame. And the last of which burrowed back into the ground, leaving no trace that they ever even existed. I thought the whole ordeal was over. I thought I was done with these children. I got home ready to take a nap. Before doing so, I pulled in my email, and I saw an email from one of the parents. Thank you, Coach. We'll see you at next Tuesday's game. The end.